Hello and welcome to Final Boss Fight. My name is Geoff and tonight I'm going to be taking a look at Chaosium's newest release, Call of Cthulhu Arkham. Now we were fortunate enough to have been sent a preview copy by Chaosium, for which I would like to thank them enormously. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So this is a revised and updated edition of Call of Cthulhu Arkham. The original book was written by Keith Herbert in 1990 as Arkham Unveiled, and underwent a few updates, most recently in 2003 with a third edition, called H.P. Lovecraft's Arkham. Now I haven't read any of the previous editions, so this will not be a comparison of old and new. Instead I will be looking at this book in its current form with fresh eyes. Now the first thing to say about this book is that it's fairly chunky. It comes in at around 270 pages, which isn't that much less than the Investigator's Handbook. It is crammed with information, details and artwork about Arkham, and there really isn't any wasted space. I'll talk a bit about the layouts later on, but I was very impressed by the size of the book. In Call of Cthulhu Arkham, we get an introduction and foreword from the authors introducing us to the book and to the city. Arkham was a creation of H.P. Lovecraft, and a number of his stories took place in and around this shadowy New England city. The foreword suggests a reading list of Lovecraft's works as a primer for the sort of thing to expect here. The book then gives us a history of the city, beginning from its foundation in the late 1600s right the way through to the 1920s, the main period covered in the book, and the traditional setting for Call of Cthulhu itself. We read of the early settlement of the town and its development over the years, along with institutions such as trade and industry, the local Arkham newspapers, and of course the famous Miskatonic University. We're given overviews of the government and administration of the city, along with a taste of daily life and various festivals throughout the year. It's also worth pointing out that this is the time of Prohibition, and as such a lot of the sections on law and order are concerned with the smuggling and sale of alcohol and the various crime families and syndicates in control. For those looking to run campaigns or scenarios in Arkham, the book presents us with new investigator occupations and skills designed to help them take advantage of the resources available in the city, along with a new reputation mechanic which gives a measure of the investigator's standing in the city. Those who perform heroic actions and are seen as upstanding citizens will have a good reputation, while those who tend more towards criminal or dishonorable actions may find themselves at the disreputable end of the scale. There's also an extensive list of possible organizations and societies investigators can join, with their various benefits. It's certainly a new way to look into investigator creation, and it offers up a multitude of new possibilities, both for investigators and for organizations. The main part of the book is an in-depth guide to the city, covering the various neighborhoods and locations, along with the people you would meet there. Now the book repeats over and over again that this is not an exhaustive guide to all the locations, as there are a lot of blank buildings that a keeper can use to shape their own version of Arkham. Having said that, there are hundreds of locations described here, some with a few lines, others with much longer sections. By the end I almost felt like I had been on a full tour of the city. Now I said earlier on that there is a suggested reading list and, while it is certainly not a requirement to be able to enjoy the book, the stories mentioned do provide a lot of context for some of the location descriptions and people. I enjoyed reading about characters such as Walter Gilman from The Dreams in the Witch House and Dr. Henry Armitage from The Dunwich Horror, to name just 2 out of dozens. The book does a very good job of giving references to Lovecraft story titles, so it's very easy to see where to go for more information and detail. A real highlight for me was the section on the Miskatonic University itself, and especially the Orne Library, where ancient tomes of dangerous knowledge are held in a restricted section. This book also gives an account of how the restricted section came about and what books are to be found there. There are also a lot of nods to Lovecraft in the street names, nothing overt, but just some things to make a fan smile knowingly. One thing the book does talk a lot about is the attitudes of the times, particularly discrimination towards certain groups of people. The book acknowledges the realities of these issues, but does encourage keepers to run what is comfortable to them and to their table. At the same time, it shows how some people work to improve matters and how society's views are slowly being changed. Above all, the emphasis is on making the game fun for all playing it, and if that means certain things should be changed or stayed away from, then that is perfectly valid. Now I want to talk a bit about the layout. As I said earlier on, this book is crammed full of information, but at no point did I feel overwhelmed by it. The text is clearly laid out on the page and interspersed with artwork and boxed sections. One problem that I've had in previous books is the way that paragraphs sometimes break over pages. For example, a paragraph outlining a rule may begin on one page, then you have 2 or 3 pages of tables before the paragraph resumes, with the result that you've forgotten how it started. And I'm happy to see that even though there are a couple of instances of this here, On the whole, paragraph and page breaks flow a lot better, and I didn't find myself flicking back and forth as much to get a complete sentence. And the artwork here is on the whole very exceptional. There's a good mix of everyday Arkham life, such as shopping in a market, along with some of the more unnatural aspects of the city and the surrounding area. Interspersed throughout are newspaper clippings advertising the goods and services of the city, and these are provided by the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society. In fact, the physical version will come with a prop newspaper designed and printed by the H.P. LHS, which, along with the 2 poster maps of the city, are things I'm really looking forward to. If you've seen any of the H.P. LHS's other work, you will know the excellent quality and standard they always produce, and I'm sure this will be just as amazing. The only artwork that felt off to me were a few of the character portraits. Something about the eyes seemed a bit weird, but then again I suppose that adds to the unsettling feeling the city provokes. That brings me on to the downsides. There are a few spelling errors here and there, which is a bit disappointing, but I found that they didn't detract from the book and I was able to look past them easily enough. There are also no scenarios in this book, which again is a bit of a disappointment. However, there's so much in the way of characters, locations and story seeds already, it doesn't seem like it would take much work to have a full adventure in the city. In conclusion, I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book. Call of Cthulhu Arkham is an invaluable resource for keepers looking to run games in the city, but it's also an excellent book for those who are fans of Lovecraft's work and want to dig a bit deeper into Arkham and its inhabitants. I highly recommend it. Call of Cthulhu Arkham is due to be released on Thursday, February 22nd, and will be available in digital or physical editions from all good game stores or from the Chaosium website. Thanks again to Chaosium for giving this opportunity, and thank you for watching. Like, comment and subscribe to Final Boss Fight for more videos, and I'll see you very soon.